Hello, friends. Thank you very much for joining in for today's session. Today we are going to be talking about how if someone was able to clear the FRM exam, and today we have with us Seena Maru, one of our student, and she has cleared FRM level 1, and she's going to be appearing for FRM level 2. So we are having this conversation with her primarily to get an idea about what was her struggle, what was the way that she approached for the exam, what was her preparation strategy, so that the new guys who are coming for the exam, who are planning for FRM exam, gets an idea about what is the way of preparation and how people who have cleared the exam, how they have approached it. Okay, so thank you very much, Seena. Thank you very much for joining in.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me for this discussion. It's all my pleasure.
Thank you, Seena. So primarily, Seena, can you give the audience a brief idea about what you were doing before applying for FRM level?
Sure, sir. So I'll talk about my education qualification. I've done my bachelor's in management studies and I've pursued my MBA. And before giving FRM, even before my MBA, I had 3 years of work experience in risk consulting. And then after my MBA, that's when it triggered me that I want to give my FRM level 1. And it's been 1 year in my current job profile, wherein I'm working with an European investment banking company into their risk department.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
So primarily, what triggered for you to go for FRM? Was it a natural progression because you were already working in risk, or you heard from someone, or what was the trigger point for you?
Yeah, so sir, I was pursuing my MBA, and that's when I already had thoughts of giving either CFA or FRM. So when I got through campus placement into the risk department of one of the European investment bank, that's when I thought that probably I could do something more to enhance my, current job profile, which would be more tailor-made and more professional, in terms of getting it. Because if you are in risk department and if you are doing FRM, you can actually understand when you're talking to risk professionals. So what I did is, after joining my current job profile, 1 month into the job profile, I ordered for FRM books and I went through the topics to understand if this is going to be relevant to me and my job profile. So I went through the topics and I was kind of, discussing it with the people who had given FRM and who were in risk department and how it was helping them to enhance their career. So holding on to that thought, okay, there were subsequent questions also in my mind, but that's what the trigger point was, that I'm into the risk department. I wanted something that could actually help me with my current job profile. And I decided to go ahead and, research a bit about it. So when I holded on to that thought, there were two subsequent questions that came to my mind. One was, whether should I give both the levels together or not, because FRM gives you that opportunity wherein you can give both the levels together. And second is, do I need a coaching class for this, or can I do it myself? So I went into the process to figure out and answer this question, simultaneously figuring out and being more sure whether I wanted to do this certification or not. So what was one thing that actually worked out with me was, when I was comparing it with CFA, is like CFA, each level is a certification in itself. But when you look at FRM, it's only when you complete both the level you are certified. And I thought that will always keep me in that, give me that push that I want to complete both the levels and do a complete qualification, which I thought was more, I took it as a positive way, because then I wouldn't be like just doing first level and, sitting with it. I would complete, yeah, I would complete it, because I know otherwise level 1, all the efforts would not really work in my favor. Second was to figuring out with my objective why exactly I wanted to do FRM. That would eventually help me answer all the questions that I had in my mind. And majorly it was for me to be more confident when I'm talking to risk professionals, because my job required me every day to talk to risk professionals, not only, in India, but across globe and at various levels and across principal risks like credit risk, market risk, liquidity risk. So when you want to talk to somebody coming, in the risk professional in different, areas, when you have this kind of certification and knowledge, it really helps you to be much more confident.
Right. I understand. So primarily because like you said, when you talk to stakeholders, when you talk to people who are actually doing that stuff day in, day out, and you are doing that review, you have to be more confident from the risk perspective. And obviously, when you have that designation, people perceive you in a very different way. They know that you have done something and like that. Right? So when you started, like you said, like you mentioned that you went through the topics which were there for the exam. When you went through that,
Hmm.
did you find any topic which is difficult, or did you find any topic which was easy for you at the first class?
Yeah, so so that's exactly what happened when I was going through each and every topic. I was trying to figure out that what are the topics I could do myself and what are the topics I would really require assistance. So like level one, book two is about statistics, and statistics was not very something very my area, and I was
Okay.
sure that I would require assistance out there. Okay, and there were other chapters also in book three and book four, and that I probably would require to reach out to people and understand. And holding on to that thought, I decided that I am going to pursue my FRM with my current job profile, and it's a new job role, so I have to perform that there as well, and I wanted to clear in the first attempt. So I thought that joining a coaching class would really help me out here, because I would already have somebody to reach out to. They're going to help me out with the topics that I need assistance with, and other topics as well. And it will give me that push.
Okay.
So that's how the entire thought process for me worked out. And I spoke to one of your students also, and about how did he went ahead and gave the FRM both the levels. He had cleared both the levels,
Yes.
and that's how I got your reference, and I joined your classes.
Right. So, what was your preparation strategy? So, when you were doing FRM level one, uh, since you mentioned that you were already working full time and there was a lot of hectic schedule, so how did that work out in terms of time preparation? In terms of were you preparing daily, or was it what was the strategy? Were you preparing only on weekends? What was that strategy?
Yeah, so sir, my strategy was I had initially figured out what were the topics which were kind of I was comfortable with, and what were the topics that required more push from my end. So my entire focus was initially to work on those topics, to be very thorough with those topics, and then move on to the topics I was most comfortable with. The
Right.
strategy that I primarily used while studying was I was coming to the coaching classes. So over the weekend, there were around 4 to 5 chapters we used to do in the coaching classes. So in the subsequent week, my target used to be to do a self-study of those 4 to 5 chapters. So I kind of went in line with the schedule of the coaching classes. And the advantage
Hmm.
out here in the level one was we had different branches. So the topics which I knew that I'm not very comfortable with, okay, what I did is I went through those topics, and still if those concepts were not clear, I used to see where those topics were going to be, studied in the next
The next
branch.
session.
And I used to make sure, yeah, so I used to make sure I went to those sessions in the next
Right.
branch and have that concept very clear. So that really worked out well with me in terms of
Okay.
I didn't really had to put my thoughts into my schedule, because I was following the schedule which was, being done at the coaching class. And
Okay.
if yeah, and the thing that actually I did was in the start to figure out the topics and to segregate them. Okay,
Right.
and accordingly my primarily focus used to be on the topics which I was not comfortable with.
So basically, two things primarily. Start out with topics which you feel are weakness for you, and already
Yeah.
always follow a schedule. And whenever if you're going for a session like a coaching institute, then definitely go through them, go through that topic on your own also before and after the session. That will help you to clarify more your doubts and help you to strengthen the concept which you are reading. And when we talk about FRM level one exam, so that 4 hours, 100 questions. What happened with you that day?
Yeah, what happened is when I was giving my mocks before the exam, what I saw was I was left with buffer time of 20 to 30 minutes. And accordingly, I had strategized my day of exam that in initial 30 minutes, I have to target to solve 20 questions. So 1 hour 40 questions, 2 hours 80 questions, and 2.5 hours 100 questions. So still you're left with 30 minutes in case if there's something you want to relook at it. And that strategy was decided primarily by giving the mocks and how much time I used to take. Now what happened at the day of the exam? The exam was one notch above and the questions were very lengthy. So I figured out in 1 hour, I was supposed to give 40 questions, but I was still at 25. Okay, and that was like a bomb for me. But the good part was like within 1 hour, I figured out that I'm taking too much of time. So I immediately changed my strategy in the second hour. What I started doing is I was aware about some of the topics which could go wrong or which didn't have clarity. So I started moving faster. I started just looking for topics and the questions that I already know, which were no. Okay, and which I didn't know, I didn't. I looked at the question. Okay, something related to this. I think I'm a little weak. I'm not even going to read full question. I'll come back to it later. I started moving fast in the, from the after I completed 1 hour, and that's how then. Exactly when 3 hours were completed, I was still left with 3 questions which I had not looked at all. But at least I was sure that by the end of 3 hours, I have looked at the questions which were easy or which were doable for me, and I've attempted those.
Okay, you mean 4 hours, end of 4 hours.
End of 4 hours, sorry.
So, okay, there are two things now, which from this conversation that came out primarily was, the first is, whatever strategy you're creating, the exam might be different. So be ready for it. Be ready for the shock. And if you're ready for it, you'll be able to change your strategy very quickly. Right? And that is what I think. So a lot of MBA guys do get some advantage on it because they've already given some competitive exam before. So that helps them to change their strategy, how to look at question and all. And one more thing which I generally tell people is that do not start directly from first question. Have a look at the question, because what happens is many a time in the exam, you might find difficult questions at the first and easy questions at the last. And you might end up putting a lot of time in those difficult questions itself. Right? So definitely that is going to be very tricky. And the best part that worked for you is primarily to pick up those easy questions first, gain some confidence. Okay, out of 100, I'm able to solve 60 now. What about the rest 40? Okay, then I'll go and look at those questions which I thought were difficult in the initial phase, right? So wonderful, wonderful. I mean, this is great example because people would be able to relate. People have already cleared the exam would be able to relate to this situation. And if I go after the exam, so what happened after the exam to you in terms of your career? Did you see any growth? Did you see direct, indirect benefit to you or your career?
So in my team, I'm the first one to have like FRM level 1 cleared. So I did see that kind of recognition in my team that, we have a colleague with us who has that professional qualification, MBA plus FRM level 1 cleared. And when we are into the risk professionals and we are talking to risk professionals, there was much more confidence coming from my team members also when they had to hand over work to me, okay, and specifically critical projects or critical areas to look at. They knew that she could manage it better. She has that enhanced, edge over, and she's continuously studying also because I decided to pursue my level 2 as well. And level 2 is much more synced in lines with how the risk professional works. So it's like exactly what I'm studying. I can see out there happening in my bank. And I could relate it immediately and I could talk to people. So I'll tell you one of the things that happened is I in fact even took a training for my team on liquidity risk. Wherein I just gave them a brief background about how liquidity risk works in banks, what are the regulations and everything, just touching base with what I have studied in level 1 and level 2 and with the current work, the processes I had reviewed, for the benefit of the rest of the team members.
So that was primarily generic training with respect to the liquidity risk. That is applicable to all the banks. Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. So people do perceive this certification differently, and they give you good work, they give you good projects, and definitely a lot of people also realize that you have some technical skill.
Yeah,
so you'll be able to understand stuff. That is very, very important. Wonderful. And I think so we can have you for that liquidity session also in our, in our institute, and we can enlighten our students also that stuff. So interesting. And so you're going to be appearing for level 2 now, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're preparing for the exam, you see a lot of content being very similar to your bank content. Plus, you also see that if a lot of these stuffs which are available on your bank's intranet. So, for example, the kind of reporting that a bank do for Basel, okay, or the bank has a risk appetite statement that you read in your level 2. Similar topics are available in your day-to-day work. It's only about your interest, how you go and find those things, right?
So this was first, this was a classic example wherein I could actually see what I'm learning. Okay, being implemented and see the practical how the banks are working, because we are into risk management department. Okay, like if I have to give you an example which everybody could relate out, would be the compensation bit of it, which we had studied in level 1, and how you have to ask different questions, you know. Even in fact in level 2 also we have operations, one of the topics in operation risk, wherein it's talk about what are the questions that needs to be asked during you know, performance appraisal, and you know how they need to be bifurcated between the code of conduct and you know, the pure performance. Similar, everything is similar in the bank that I'm working with. Everything is being implemented, what is being set out in the rules and regulations. So we even do testing for BCBS 239, regulatory compliance. And we do see all the 14 codes of conducts that were studied in level 1 and the level first book, and how they are being implemented in the bank right now, and how are the testing happening to ensure that we abide by the regulatory requirements.
Wow,
So,
wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. So definitely there's a connect which which you can see when you're working, and that will help you to learn those topics very fast. Certainly.
Yeah.
And Seena, thank you very much for giving your time, giving your guidance to new people, and sharing your experience, sharing your journey. That was really, really helpful for us, and also for the people who are going to be listening to this audio, because sorry, listening to this video, because they might be planning for the exam. They might have a lot of queries, like you told, you completed MBA and then you went for FRO. So a lot of MBA students might also be planning for that. So definitely this conversation should ideally help them to make some decisions, pursue right thing, right? So thank you very much for your time, Seena, and